Joining me today is wide receiver Treydonte Hill. Depending on who you ask, the fastest man in the fan-controlled football league. Treydonte's talents go beyond the gridiron. He has also been a storyline writer for anime Most Peaceful Way to Die. Thank you for joining me today, Treydonte. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I appreciate you coming on today, man. It really means a lot to me. Like I said, it was super cool that I just reached out to you and you're like, oh yeah, man, let's do it.
Yeah, fan control football. It's always power to the fans, and they encourage us to interact with everybody that likes to interact, especially with podcasts and things like that. It's
Makes sense.
interesting hearing the athletes' views. So
Makes sense. And I love talking to all you guys. It's awesome to hear from different guys from different leagues to see how they're different and the differences from one league to another, especially the fan controlled football league. Like it's a totally different ball game as far as American football goes. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of 7-on-7 leagues and set up the way they have it, where it's a weekly draft and everything. It's got to be different from a player's perspective.
no, for sure, it's very different.
How do you handle jumping from team to team from a weekly basis?
So it's not that hard jumping from team to team because we practice with each other throughout the week. What we did for season one, they might do something different for season two, but for season one, we all practice with each other, so it wasn't that hard to get chemistry with everybody. And then when people got teams, everybody would practice at the same time, but people would do stuff specifically with their teams.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Interesting. I've always wondered how that worked. I mean, especially from a playbook perspective. I mean, I can't imagine. Well, I guess if you practice all together, maybe you do have a pretty extensive playbook. But I can imagine it would be pretty hard to install much of a playbook when you're doing it on a week by week basis.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Definitely. So, starting with your background, how old were you when you first got involved with organized football, and what inspired you to begin playing football?
What started me to play football? Uh, my granddad took me out to a field when I was like 4, maybe going on 5, and out here in Nashville at the time, it's called Junior Pro, and it was like Junior Pee Wee for 5 and 6, and he took me out there and he bet the coach if I could beat the fastest kid to the fence and back, then he would just allow me to play football. And my granddad was just like, he'll pay the fees up front and all this stuff because it was the middle of the season. And I had been in our backyard, like training and running around, and had just been talking to my granddad about football because that's all he would ever really talk to me about at that age, about my father playing football. I raced the kid. He was 6 years old. He was our quarterback at the time, probably our most talented player. And I beat him. I went to the fence, and on the way back, I met him coming on the way back, and then when I made it, I beat him. So I mean, I thought I was pretty fast because I burnt him pretty bad. So that's what started me to play football at that age. And probably when I was 4 then. I played junior pro for 3 years, so 4, 5, and 6. When I was 6, I was kind of bigger than everyone, and they had moved me to left tackle. I had moved to a new team, a new area, and I was playing left tackle. So they didn't really know how fast I was or any of that. And I was playing left tackle, and they put me on the front line to onside return one time. And you know the thing they tell the kids: if it's on the front line, get the kids fall on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kicked it to me, and I caught it and took it to the house. And they was like, "Well, he's fast, and he's our left tackle, so I think we need to move him to running back." And I've just been playing like offense, getting the ball ever since.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, with your speed, how could you not? I mean, really. I
Yeah,
mean, it makes sense. Honestly, if it were me, I'd be putting the ball in your hand every play. Might even put you in at a quarterback just for that specific reason.
yeah,
Um, so, I mean, you grew up in Nashville, correct?
yeah. Nashville, Tennessee.
Absolutely. So, walk me through the football mentality there is in Tennessee, and when you're that young.
Um, if you come from Tennessee, one thing you're gonna know how to do is hit. It's smash mouth football. If you're gonna make it in Tennessee, I mean, we Oklahoma's. It really didn't matter. It mattered who was the fastest. Like I was always known for being the fastest growing up everywhere I went. So like It mattered who being the fastest was, but eventually, like, it doesn't matter if you're fast because you're gonna have to hit. So like everybody that comes from Tennessee, they're probably gonna like to lay some wood on somebody. Like they don't. People from Tennessee don't like to be like not physical because that's what we were raised to be. So if
Makes
that's one
sense.
thing you're gonna take from Nashville, Tennessee football is those guys are gonna hit your ass.
That's awesome. So at what age did you discover your love for anime, and when did you just start to decide to start contributing to an anime series?
Um, I had a checkered like childhood growing up. Probably wasn't the best childhood, you know. So everybody has their story. I loved anime ever since I was little. It was just something that my older brother was into, then my older stepbrother was into. And when I tried to get into it, like my mom felt like I kind of like was like copying my older brother, so I kind of like didn't really get to the creative side of what I could do with it, but I always watched it ever since I was younger. I mean, I started probably on like Yu Yu Hakusho, the first Netflix anime I ever seen. This is when anime used to. I mean, this is when Netflix used to send like they used to send a disc to your house and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That was way back then. So the first anime I ever seen, they didn't send the disc, but I was able to stream it, and I didn't even know like Netflix and streams was that big. But Devil May Cry, I had played the video game, and then was able to stream it on Netflix for the first time. And like I used to watch Yu Yu Hakusho on like Toonami and stuff like that, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. So like I'm really an anime nerd. Like I could really talk about anime for days and like watch different animes. So like that's been the thing for me since I was younger, since I can remember. Now creating anime probably like 2018. When I left out of college, I tried out you know, to get in the NFL draft, tried to get picked up, didn't get picked up, heard something from the coach, did some things with the coach, didn't get to go through with that. Um, and then, you know, you just, at the end of that year, all the work you put in, everything that you've done, and it doesn't really add up to what you figured it would. So, you know, I figured I need to find some new avenues. There's more that I love other than football. What can I break down and find that I like more than football? Now it's anime. And so it just so happened that my friend, he helped me out. He seen me what I was doing. He taught me how to write storylines. I put the storyline together, and then after that, everything worked out.
That's awesome. Um, so back to the football side of things.
Say
Coming
it
out of,
again.
I said, get back to the football side of things. Coming out of high school, you played wide receiver, running back, defensive back, and you returned kicks and punts. What ended up pushing you to settle in at primarily wide receiver at this point?
Uh, So when I came out of high school, I was recruited by Wake Forest, and Wake Forest is where I had committed to out of high school. And around the time that I committed, I had found out that I didn't have the grades for the institution, and they couldn't get me in through the back door because some stuff with my transcripts and all type of stuff. So like he sent me to this coach that he was cool with. Steve Lebowski sent me to the coach out at LA Harbor for junior college. So once I got to junior college, my coach, as soon as I touched down, he takes me to like in and out. First off, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, like, and I grew up a little bit in Dixon, so I'm like this country kid, you know, out at LA, big city, you know what I'm saying? And he takes me out to In and Out, and he's like, "This is the best restaurant in LA. Everybody comes out here for this." And we start talking about football. And when I was getting recruited by Wake Forest, like when he came out to see me at the school, he was just telling me how they wanted me to play both sides, and you know, the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator was arguing over which sides they wanted me to play, and just comparing me to players. You know how they blow up kids' heads. And then I get out to California, and I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna do a good job out here. This, that, the third." I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna kill it. I think I want to play defensive back, like just to start off or whatever." And he was like, "I don't know who you've been talking to, but you're not playing defense." Like, I'm like, "Well, I was recruited to Wake Forest to play defense and offense, and I think I'm a hell of a defensive back. My senior year, I had like 7 interceptions. I had more interceptions and turnovers than I had touchdowns. So um, he's just like nah, people at your with your size and your type of talent, they don't really play defense. He's like they play offense. They get paid to catch and score touchdowns. And when you have like speed like yours, it's a rarity, and that's what you want to do with it. And I'm like, I mean, I guess if you say so, I could do both. But I had told him like, coming out of high school, like I had transferred to a different high school from the school I went to all 3 years in high school to my junior year. I transferred to Cane Ridge, and like I just wasn't great at catching. Like that's why I wasn't just like a primarily receiver. Like I played defense too, and yeah, he made that decision for me, and he just drilled it into me until I was able to catch the ball, pretty much.
And that was at Cane Ridge, you said?
That was at Orange Coast College.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so that was in the college level. All right,
Yeah,
because I was gonna say when I looked at your high school statistics, it looked like you were used more as a runner than you were as a receiver. And then
yeah,
it went on, and you're all of a sudden you're a receiver in college, and I was like, huh, I wonder how that all transpired.
no, for sure. I did
Uh,
not really want to play receiver. I'm not gonna lie.
you didn't want to?
No, I wanted to play defensive back.
That's crazy. I like honestly, I figured, most kids, most younger guys, especially coming out of high school, they all want the ball. I would have assumed you
No,
wanted to
I
play
wanted to be the
offense.
showstopper.
Gotcha, understandable. I mean, I guess it makes sense after what you explained about Nashville and the mentality that you guys have there.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to go lay some wood. That makes sense.
I
That
kind
makes
of thank
sense.
him now because, like, think about it. Like, if I do get in the NFL, I don't want to tackle Derrick Henry. Like, like
Oh
I'm good
man.
off that.
Yeah, I can't blame you there. I don't think anybody wants to tackle Derrick Henry. I think that's part of why he's so good.
You
It's
feel
hard to
me?
want to take down a guy that's that big. Um,
Intimidation factor is real.
no doubt. So you kind of actually alluded to my next question earlier with what you said, how you didn't really know how to catch until you hit the college level. But do you believe that your ability to catch the deep ball and track the ball as well as you have when it is a deeper route came at the college level, or was it something that you naturally had and they kind of just coached it out of you?
So, I want to go on record by saying now, in the SCF last year, after my wreck and stuff, I didn't have like the best season, but I'm back and I'm healthy now, and the whole league knows what I could do. Players, coaches, and all, they know what's coming. So I'm excited to bring that forth to the table of what I could truly do, and especially with the stage we have. But catching is like for me, it was something that I had to learn, and how I learned how to do it was I went to Mt Sac Junior College for my second year of college. My offensive coordinator named Coach Bobby. Uh, he asked me what was one of my biggest flaws, and I told him everybody says I can't catch. He took me out there with the quarterback. I ran a couple of routes with him, and after watching me and stuff, he told me my problem wasn't that I wasn't able to catch. He was like, "I'm just so damn fast. Like I need to know where the ball's coming from and lock onto the ball so I can track the ball." He's like, you're looking at the left tackle or the right tackle when you're running a dig across the middle when the ball's coming from where the center is. And it kind of all made sense. I really didn't have a really great receivers coach. So like for somebody to like break the game down and watch me like that, I think that's what changed the game for me. So like as I'm running and I'm looking back at the quarterback or where the ball's supposed to be, no matter if I can see the quarterback or not, like it made it easier for me to track the ball. And that's when I realized, okay, like I'm not able to catch. It's just I didn't understand the concepts of where everything was going and what was going on. And I just started practicing because I learned that during the season. And so I started practicing that during the season. And then when I left Mount Sac, like that's one of the most prestigious junior colleges, and went to my university at Western New Mexico, I could see how like different I was than everybody else, like and what he was like telling me all along. And like I think that is what made me to be like the playmaker that you see on like all the highlights and stuff today.
Absolutely. So I wanted to display a comment real quick. What's up, Snowman in the morning? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Friend of the show. Sorry about that. He's got also a morning show. Obviously, he's really, really knowledgeable. He does a football Fridays type deal. I'll actually be joining his morning show next week.
Okay.
So
What's up, my guy?
be a weekly thing going forward. But anyway, getting back to your story. I also noticed that during your freshman season of college that you made one tackle and managed to force a fumble on your only tackle all season long. Is that just a Memphis thing? Nashville thing? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah. I actually, so my freshman year, I don't know if I stripped that dude or not, but I did. The quarterback threw me a pass, and I had a real bad attitude at the time. I could have went up there and got it, and I didn't. And he threw an interception, and as I'm running down the field, I'm thinking like, I don't really want to run and get this dude, And then I thought like the quarterback threw me the ball, and I did like lollygag, and he threw an interception. So I need to wipe the slate clean, and then I run the dude down and I go get him. I probably could have got him way earlier. And then the play that I did force a fumble was my second year, my sophomore year, and my quarterback threw a dime, and I lost it in the lights. I miss it, goes over my head. This is in like the biggest game of the year, Mt Sac versus Riverside. I'm sure California people know about that. And yeah, he threw the interception to the guy that was covering me, and I run the dude down the strip, and we get the ball back. Both plays equally crazy. Like just for the simple fact of like my freshman year, I had time to even think about even running that guy down and then run him down. That was pretty impressive for me. And then running the guy down, that he threw the ball to me, and like I run this guy down the strip, and my friend Aaron Bonds pick it up, one of my teammates, and yeah, it's just. And now to see what's his name for the Seahawks, Metcalf, to do it and it go viral, I'm like, I've been doing that. It's nothing,
That's funny. That's awesome. So, following the 2014 season, you landed with Western New Mexico University. What led you to your decision to transfer, and how do you believe your time at WNMU changed the outlook on your football career?
Well, 2014, I left Mt Sac. 2016, I was at Western New Mexico. And what led me to go to Western New Mexico? So and I don't think anyone knows this story, so you would be the first one to actually get the end of this. So
That's awesome.
I actually had an offer from Utah coming out of high school. I mean, coming out of junior college in Mt Sac. And I actually just posted a picture today on my story on Instagram because, like, I had seen it and I'm like, dang, I just remember the mistakes I've made. I've been reminded of a bunch of stuff here lately. Like, that's how I know all this stuff is coming together and going to where I want it to be. But I was committed to Utah. They sent the coaches out to, like, make my schedule and have all my stuff done. And, like, they was prepared to get me, onto the team. So that was in the fall. In the fall, I failed my classes. I got an offer from Utah in the spring, before the season that we won the state championship. Come back in the fall, I failed all my classes in the fall. Like, being dumb, being a college student, thinking I'm on the national championship team, they're just going to pass us. And Mount Sac's not like that at all. They're serious about their education. So learned that the hard way. Come back the spring. I was a qualifier out of high school. So all I had to do was pass certain classes. Come back in the spring. They put me in some classes. All I have to do is pass 4 classes. I failed 2 of them. I get a D and an F in 2 classes. So, you don't hear squat. I end up getting bed bugs at my house. And I end up being allergic to the bed bugs. So now I can't even sleep in my house. I'm like out in California, 19 years old, sleeping on the roof of our apartments at Walnut Heights.
Wow.
My friend walks by one day and he's like, yo, T Hill, I see you've been on the roof for a minute. Like, why are you on the roof? I'm like, well, we got bed bugs. I can't go in the house. We're out in California. Weather's not that bad. Moved you up. So he's like, bro, you come stay with me. You know what I'm saying? Get your stuff together. I go stay with my homeboy for about 3 days. We all live in the Heights. It's an apartment. And lo and behold, Western New Mexico called. They've been calling since Utah. I've been calling, and I've been blowing them off. And they're like, yeah, we're ready to increase your scholarship package. Just that they want me to come. They want me bad. And I'm just like, okay, I'll go. Like, it's like the only opportunity I have right now, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't know anything about I could redshirt, work on my grades, go home, all this other stuff. I need to play football. I'm trying to get through this process as quick as I can. I grew up in project struggle, so I'm trying to make it to the NFL. That's the only thing that's on my mind. So they got a long line of All-American receivers. He's sending me pictures with the Rams, the Colts, so I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. Like, you think I'm that guy? I'm coming. So that's what led me to go to Western New Mexico. Just a whole lot of things that just happened sporadically. A lot of mistakes that I made myself and connections that I lost myself. And they were always there. So and there was other schools that hit me up, Division twos and stuff like that. One, that they weren't offering as much, and two, it was just like they were always there. You know what I'm saying? So I made the decision off who I felt, has always been there, even when I turned my back on them. You know what I'm saying? Even when I played them to the left. So yeah, that's what made that decision. And then ultimately, I went there, and our offensive coordinator that got me there left. So double-edged sword.
So sorry about that. My fire alarm just went off in my house because my wife's cooking steak at the moment.
No, you're fine.
I apologize. But anyway, moving on. I'm super glad that I was the first that got to hear that story. I did not know that was going to be a story that nobody knew. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So moving on, you said you finished your college career at Tabor, correct, in 2017?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what led to you ultimately, other than what you just told me, that did the offensive coordinator leaving ultimately lead to you choosing Tabor?
No. We got a new offensive coordinator in, and I guess you could say that offensive coordinator leaving did, but me and him didn't get along at the time. After I left, he called and we talked, and we made up, but I was already gone at the time. But we got a new offensive coordinator in. We had All-American receiver, All-American running back, a guy that was my roommate. He's also really good, and I had to throughout the spring when we got the new offensive coordinator, I had to really work hard to earn my position, and it really got to a point where I had to score every time I touched the ball. It got that serious. So that happened, and then a week before the game, the offensive coaches called me in, and they're like, we can't have the two best players sitting on the sideline. I mean, one player, we have to have the two best players in the game at all times. So they moved our All-American receiver to outside receiver, and then me to slot, and we had this bounce back quarterback from UTEP. And yeah, man, I was killing it that season. I was just every three touches I had a touchdown. 24 receptions, 7 touchdowns. I didn't miss a ball that year. Every pass that was through to me, I caught. If I had to jump over somebody, if I had to outrun, it was crazy because I was just determined to earn my position, and stuff just didn't work out the way that I thought it would at the time. But I was 7 games into the season with 7 touchdowns. I was young and dumb. That was my problem, young and dumb, and I wanted more. And the head coach that was there seen my side of the story, understood, and he sent me over to one of his friends that coaches at another college, and we hit it off there. And one of my friends already played there from Mt Sac. Once I left Western New Mexico in the middle of the season, and yeah, that type of stuff happened. I just it was a learning experience for me. So that's kind of what me being bullheaded. A whole bunch of situations where I felt like I was better than at the time, so to speak. Now that I look back, It was more so I should have, been the player and let the coaches be the coaches. And I've learned from that. So that's pretty much what led me to go to Tabor. And luckily, the head coach Clark, liked me and sent me over to one of his colleagues and gave him a good impression about me. And I went to Tabor, and every impression he had about me, I made a realization. So that's what happened with me going to Tabor.
Hey man, I think everybody as a young man has to learn their lesson at some point. I did it just not in professional sports where, college level sports where people are watching. So I do not envy athletes that have to deal with the fact that they have fans and students and everything watching their every action. So, I mean, it's a hard situation to be in for a young man. You get a lot of attention at that age, and it's I'm sure hard to cope with, man. So no fault there. Everybody has their mistakes, right?
Yeah, I'm just lucky I don't a bad name doesn't carry me with all the moving that I've did. Like if you ever talk to any of those coaches, like they're always gonna have great things to say about me. Even the one I had problems with, like even to this day, like they always have great things to say about me. So I'm lucky on that behalf and that end that I did handle things how I handled it. So
that doesn't surprise me. I mean, in our interactions, you've been extremely nice, a super respectable guy. So it doesn't surprise me that everybody's got a high opinion of you. I mean, you make a good first impression, that's for sure.
yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So moving on, you were a part of the 2018 draft class following the 2017 season. I read in a previous interview that you did that you prepared for the draft at a gym called The Pit with a trainer named Sean. What led you to choose this gym, and how do you feel he helped you during your draft prep?
One of my friends in Montana put me on with Sean at The Pit, and Sean gave me workouts and things, and he gave me multiple resources I could use and multiple things I could do. I never ever really got to make it out to The Pit in Montana, but we did keep a close knit relationship throughout that whole process. And I actually think Sean had passed like my name across to some people, and had got me a couple of looks too. So um, I think Sean, without even like actually, we got to talk on the phone and FaceTime and stuff, but we never got to meet in person. I think without even meeting me in person, he was a person that strongly believed in me once I came out of college, and believed that I could go to the highest level. So he gave me every tool and resource, like I said, that he could from a distance, and made sure he checked in on me with my workouts and stuff. So what led me to go there was my friend that I went and played with my freshman year. He works in I think he still works at like Montana State. He was a strength and conditioning coach, and he works at the Pit right now. So yeah, so that's what led me there.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, I noticed that, and I was just kind of curious. It was Montana, so I figured there was a reason why you ended up, trying to work out with him. So I'm excited to hear your next answer to this next question. But prior to the snap on any given play, what is it you look for to key on with opposing defenders? Does it change on a weekly basis during film study, or is it something you've built into your game?
Uh, it might change throughout the week during film study, but number one thing for me at all points and times is DB's weakness is their hips. Uh, nobody could turn faster than I could change directions. That's what I believe. And my biggest thing week to week is I'm a person that's of course I'm flashy because I like to set people up. You know what I'm saying? I have a scheme. It's like a Tom and Jerry game with me out there on the field. If you're, the defensive back, and I'm Jerry. You know what I'm saying? So I'm making Tom looking real foolish out there, getting that cheese. So I think the hips, the knowledge of the game, and then uh, one last thing would be if we're talking about focusing on the DB's techniques, which techniques they're better in. Because in goal line, defensive backs like to play catch technique, and some DBs move left to right. Some DBs just like chatter their feet in place or like pop in place. So like the catch technique is something in the goal line that I focus on watching on what DBs do, and then also if DBs like to use their hands. If like DBs ain't using their hands at the line, I know I can give a move and blow past them because they're going to try to grab me. If they're using their hands at the line, it's kind of counterproductive for me. But even with the jam, like you have to be quick enough to get that jam and then get back on defense to be able to cover me. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you stop me at the line, I'm so fast. Like I'm strong, so I could take that blow, use my hands, get around it, and leave you where you're standing, even though you got a good jam. So it's just a dangerous game to play all around.
Absolutely. So moving on, during your interview with the Gridiron crew, I noticed you mentioned supporting your teammates and showing accountability as two traits that you desire to, show to everybody. To me, these are two traits of a true leader. Are you typically the guy that's looked at to be a leader in your locker room?
Typically yes. I mean, as long as I can remember when the big plays are made in the big games and the big plays are on the line, uh, my number's called on. I find my number called on, and I find that I answer the call every single time. Like it's rare occasions that I haven't made that call, answered that call. So yeah, I feel like I'm a leader in the locker room, especially last year. I feel like in the FCF, like being together as a team, I feel like I was a leader in the locker room, kind of by my position and like just where the league held me itself. You know what I'm saying? But also, I feel like I could have done a better job of talking and communicating with people. I feel like my attitude that I carry is more better than thou art. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people see me as that, and I honestly don't care because I mean, we all got to think we're our best, but I never think I'm better than any other person. And despite that atmosphere and that feeling in the room, I would still continue to be a leader. I have my off days just like every other person, but as far as like being a team playing a leader, oh yeah, like when they're doing one-on-ones or when we're doing one-on-ones or different teams, I'm running across the field to go up with the guy that scored a touchdown, or I'm good job quarterback, or I'm defensive back slapping him on the helmet. Like I'm all about the tenacity of the game. So like I'm definitely looked at that type of aspect and that type of leader. So and I'm pretty sure that's why the league brought me back this year because that leader mentality and they talked to me about some things before and everything's coming together as they talked about it and I've grew another year with this league and everything that I'm in. So like, I think even more this year that I'm gonna be. I got a target on my back, so I've heard. So that's fun. But hey, that comes with being the leader. So I'm enjoying it all and just taking it all in.
100%, 100%. Um, so I got a kind of interesting question for you. Obviously, you're fairly young in your career, so this probably isn't going to be a situation you're going to face anytime soon. But
Mm-hmm.
how would you handle the role of being a mentor if a younger player began on your team in your position group and came looking for you to advice, even though he was challenging you for snaps?
Um. Okay. So one, I'm from Mt Sac, where the best competes. Never forget that. That's our slogan. Mt Sac, where the best competes. You want every person. You should want every person to reach their full tilt, the best they could be. Like I think I got I call it what is it called? A Jordan type mentality, Kobe type mentality. Like, yeah, I'm gonna help that person out. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him, give him the game, but it's not gonna be like mine because it's 10,000 hours plus of work behind what I'm showing you. You know what I'm saying? So like in a way, I feel like it's you can learn, you can be great, and you can stop those dudes. You can beat those dudes, but it's never going to be to the capacity that I'm doing it. Because I've put that type of work in, and I just know the ins and outs, and I know how it feels on me, so I wear it. So that's the type of person I kind of am.
Absolutely. That makes sense. So during your college career, you were asked to learn a new playbook every season. Do you believe this helped or hurt you at the time? And has it helped you adapt to the FCF at this point?
Man, so let me tell you about that. For sure, it's helped. Uh, Freshman year, really first time running a West Coast spread offense. I actually didn't struggle with knowing the plays. It was more so catching. But sophomore year, when I got to Mt Sac, you had to know the playbook or you were going to get cut. Like it was that simple. So like, and Mt Sac runs multiple offense. So we would go into center with one receiver. We go into center two receivers, pistol, shotgun. We ran literally everything that you could run, like all the way down to the T, how the NFL runs it. You know what I'm saying? And our OC is like Coach Bobby Purcell, like he's a offensive genius. So like I stuck by his side from the time I got there all the way through the spring season, all the way through the summer. So in fall, everything was just vanilla. Like my outside receiver didn't know the route, I was able to tell him the route. Like so going to Mount Sac helped me learn all those offenses. So every offense after that, like I knew exactly anything they threw at us. When he was like, "Oh, this might be hard because this is something new." This it wasn't hard to me, like because I'm like, yeah, we ran that. It was called this in Mt Sac, you know. And then when you get to a professional level and like we start and they get in the room sometimes and they'll be like, oh, this was hard. A 22-yard comeback. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't you guys might not have ran this in college, this, that, the third, you know, they open up with that. But no, we at Mount Sac, we run a 22-yard comeback, you know. So we're prepared and trained for that. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Absolutely.
Mount Sac, man, like I said, best junior college in the nation. They definitely helped me. And has it went over to the FCF? Yes. Um, One thing I train kids, so one thing that I do know is football is the same throughout the whole entirety of the game. The only thing that changes is the speed and the terminology and the way the coach coaches. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, X's and O's are X's and O's. You know, so that's that.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes perfect sense, especially if you're in a league where you're learning a new playbook or more or less every week. Um, so, following the 2018 season, when you spent a short time with the Colts, but unfortunately nothing came of it, I actually read that for a short time there, you spent time without a home. You were homeless. Um,
Yeah,
walk me
yeah.
through how you were able to survive through that and still keep your mind set on goals that must have felt a world away at that point.
Uh, you know, I had family issues, and that's what led to me becoming homeless because I had plans before, and they necessarily didn't stand up in the beginning and help me. So I had disagreements with people when I came back home, and it just ultimately led to me being homeless. So my cousin was there for me for a minute, for as long as he could be, but he lived under his mom's roof, and eventually I just had to fly out to California and flew out to California for a minute. I had a girlfriend there who would let me stay with her, but eventually that would run thin. So sometimes I would have to sleep outside, you know, overnight on the concrete, and not necessarily on the concrete because I had suitcases. So I would put the suitcases together. If it was windy, I would sleep by a trash can or something, and just cover up. You know, get the pillow out of my bag, sleep on the pillow, and you know that was hard. But throughout that whole time, like I had ran a 4.31 at a camp that I had went to an All American camp, and I just for whatever reason, football has always been my thing, and I just kind of knew, you know. Um, I felt like I didn't have anything. Like I didn't even have a phone. Like, you know, if anyone was going to call me, it would be through my girlfriend's number. On anything I put down, scouting report, it would be my girlfriend's number. So, uh, I think that I can't necessarily pinpoint what got me through those times. To be honest, other than the belief in myself, I would have workout gear with my suitcases, like my cones and stuff. And every morning I still made sure I got up and made it to go do my footwork. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had 3 or 4 different players of cleats. Like, I made sure I hit my stuff and I walk to the park, closest park, go do my footwork, grab my stuff, come back, you know. And I just had the full belief in myself that, you know, I could do it. And you asked earlier about what made me start making anime. Like, honestly, my belief in myself during football kind of wore thin, and that's what led me to start writing that anime, because I'm like, man, you've been homeless, you've been at your low, you're at your high, and then all in one year you just dropped. So like, it's time to find something that can be more. And yeah, there is like, because my parents weren't like, they've never really been actively present in my life. And after high school and stuff, nobody was really like necessarily active present in my life to help me. So like, it was all what I had in my mind. I literally trained myself to think like, today is this, but tomorrow you're gonna get up and you're gonna do this, and it's not gonna kill you. And eventually you're gonna go get to a better place. Like, I've had my lows. Like, even as a kid, my mom struggled. We didn't have homes. Like, we would ride buses late at night. My mom would carry me on her back. My brother walking. Like, so I would. That's it's honestly is what I was used to. So I never batted the eyelash of being homeless, because it was what I grew up on and what I was used to. And I knew that if I wanted better, it wasn't going to come from me sulking. It was going to come from me getting up off my ass doing something. That's what it came down to.
Man, I may not be an athlete, but I can relate to that mindset so much. It's not even funny, man. Not even.
Yeah.
So after this stretch where you're basically without a place to stay, you're by yourself, basically just football's getting you through life along with your anime. You landed with the Tuscan Sugar Skulls for the 2019 season. Uh, Tell me how this must have felt to you. I mean, after everything you had been through up to this point, you're now finally getting your first shot with a professional team. Just walk me through how you felt, how your whole rookie season went, just the whole season.
So the Tucson Sugar Skulls, I got an opportunity with them after I ran the 4.34 at the ANC Combine. Like I told you, I got into anime after I felt like I couldn't make it. My friend hit me up. He was with the Milwaukee Bucks at the time, and he was just, you could basically do what you set your mind to. We've come this far, and there's no reason for us to give up. I took that for what he said. I made a plan. What didn't go to any of these camps and all the stuff that was being thrown around, because many of you may not know, but the NFL regional combines was took away the year I came out of college. So like, that was my whole big plan, was to go to the NFL regional combine and run a 4.3, 4.2 and blow up on the scene. So that was taken away, and I just lost all that opportunity. I went to the ANC combine. They were supposed to be the same people that held the regional combines. And, I blasted on the scene. A bunch of people started talking to me from that. I get in good with the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Go out there. They're in the middle of the season, so I got to learn the playbook. I catch on to the playbook pretty fast, but he doesn't really play me on offense. The offensive coordinator does. I just play returner. Uh, Man, I'm excited because it's my first professional opportunity. So I'm just getting my feet in the door, getting my feet wet, and it became tedious, because I was working so hard for a position, and it was pretty obvious I could do the things that would be asked of me, but it was just a vet thing, So people were vets, people that already played in the league, or like they were already on the team. So I just didn't really understand why I was recruited, but I am doing returns. So like, it's kind of hard though, you're on the sideline watching them run the whole time and do stuff, and then you get out there to return, you're cold and stuff like that. So I did good though. I think my third game, the same game I got hurt, I got like returner of the week or whatever. And I had like 2 or 3, maybe 4 returns for over like 160 yards or something. And that's pretty impressive being on the indoor or whatever it was. So
Yeah.
they gave me a returner of the week because I didn't even finish the game. I only played like the first 2 quarters or something like that. And yeah, eventually when I got hurt, we tried to get it back together. It was something wrong with my ankle. I can't remember. It was a ankle sprain or a high ankle sprain or something. Tried to get it back together. Didn't work in a lot of time. They let me go. Whole time I'm with the Tucson Sugar Skulls, my whole plan was to go to the XFL. I had talked to the people from the ANC Combine. You know, they're like, we can't get you into an NFL training camp, we'll be sure to get you into something with the XFL. So, whole time I'm at Tucson, I'm just like, I don't need to hurt myself anymore because the XFL is going to come around the corner anyways. So, soon as they cut me and let me go, I stayed in Tucson for a while and I started training, getting ready for any camp that would come up for the XFL. Then they came out with the summer showcases. And I started training and getting ready for the summer showcases and stuff like that. So yeah, I was humbled by my first opportunity with Tucson Sugar Skulls, but there was more to that than what I had going on at the time. You know what I'm saying? So, love the organization, love everything they had, and I gave them my all while I was there and played. But that was a short stint, a short time, played. So, yeah.
Absolutely. For those of you that don't know, Treydonte alluded to it. The Arena Football League is only 50 yards. So for him to have over 100 yards of returns in 4 attempts is pretty insane. But moving on, when did you get involved with Most Peaceful Way to Die, and how did that come about? Were you one of the originators of it, or did you jump in midway?
Definitely the originator of it. The Most Peaceful Way to Die is all my ideas, honestly.
Gotcha.
From the characters, names. I'm the storyline writer. I have 9 episodes written up and counting. Literally took that time out by myself and made all that happen myself, along with my friend who produced my documentary, the Flash documentary. We just put stuff together, and he just pretty much helped me bring that basically to life. But I don't necessarily, I'm not worried about it so much as being published and stuff yet as I am getting the storyline together, being the storyline writer and all. So I like animes that have some longevity to them. So like I want a season that's going to be like 41 episodes or 37 episodes. You know what I'm saying? You start watching anime episodes and they're like 12 episodes a season, and you gotta wait for next season. Yeah, they suck. Like let's be real about it. You want to binge watch and you catch 12 episodes, get all into it, and then boom, season 2 next 2 years from now. Nobody likes that. Who knows? I'm really alive 2 years from now. So it's pretty crazy.
There you go. There you go. So you said you have 9 episodes ready already. How many are you planning on producing before you really release it and promote it heavily?
37.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'm actually pretty, like, when I get on the ball at rolling, at writing, I have notes in my phone and stuff. So I've been writing this piece, especially season 1, for like ever. So like once I start writing, it's not like I'm sitting there tapping with the pen in my mouth, like trying to write. No, I'm like writing. So it's no problem to write for me. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Do you see yourself doing this full time when you're done with football, or is that just something that's kind of an outlet?
Oh no, most definitely. I see me building whatever I'm doing with football and everything that I'm doing with football into something that will eventually cross over into the anime industry.
That's awesome. Okay. In 2020, you moved on to sign with the San Diego Strike Force, if I have that correct, also of the IFL. This was their second season following joining the league in 2019 as an expansion team. In 2020, you actually landed with the team following open workout, correct?
Yes.
However, after just 1 game, they were forced to shut down. Do I have that right?
Yes.
So is that when you moved on to the XFL?
I went to the XFL first and
Oh, I
played in the
apologize.
XFL, and then I went to the Strike Force after.
That's right. I totally forgot we had talked about that off camera. I apologize about that.
No, you're fine.
So when you were with the XFL, you said you spent some time with LA, Dallas, and Team 9?
Yeah, I spent time with the XFL LA Wildcats, and then I was on the practice squad where the XFL Dallas Renegades were.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, Heading into the 2021 season, you kind of parlayed your background as an arena football receiver into a contract with the FCF. For those that don't know, we kind of alluded to it before. They use a form of 7-on-7 football on a 50-yard field that is typically indoors. What's your favorite part of the game that the FCF offers that the NFL and the CFL and other leagues don't offer?
Uh, this for one, interaction with the fans, direct interaction with the fans. A lot of people like to keep things, out the athletes' hands that pertain to the fans. If it's like a group signing, you show up somewhere and people sign jerseys and stuff. They want you to interact with the fans. They have no problem with you interacting with the fans, as far as I know. They want you to make sure that the fans, basically, if they were coming into your home, you were making them feel as homely as possible, but also letting them know that they have to leave. So that's kind of the stick for like the FCS. So that's why we say power to the fans, because if you get to know someone personally, uh, you might be inspired by the story and how far they're coming. And that's the whole idea of everything that they have going, as well as building brands for young men like ourselves. Because the number one thing that all the most all the coaches and the staff is worried about is like you as a person after football. That's a big thing in the FCS. So like they want to teach you how to be a person of business before, because we're already athletes. We're going to make you better athletes. That's something we brought you a part of the team to do. But being a player that knows how to present himself in a business setting, and being able to talk and communicate in a business manner, yeah, they're big on teaching us those type of things. And some people may not feel that because they don't take time to actually talk to certain figures and get to know them. But any player that's going to be in there this year, and if they get to see this or watch this, make sure you get personable with those people and those coaches, because they got plenty of knowledge in the business aspect, especially Ray Austin. We see him on commercials, Hawaii 5-0, and all type of things. And I talk to Ray Austin personally all the time, and he tells me such a good job I'm doing and stuff like that, because the things that I'm reaching out trying to do with myself and also with the league. And I always tell him, like, I'm just, he's leading by example and I'm following his lead. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I could really appreciate about the SCF is the business part of it.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I did not realize that they were so about developing you guys as players and businessmen. So heading into 2022, when do you guys report for training camp, or and where do you guys report to?
This year,
Yeah.
we report for training camp March 15th. I actually leave to go head to Atlanta tomorrow. So March 15th is the day for receivers. March 16th is for defense. I'm not sure what day camp will start, but we'll have like 2 weeks straight of camp, I'm pretty sure. And the first game will be April 16th.
Wow. Man, the fact that you came on 4 days before you have to report is pretty awesome. I appreciate that, man. I can't believe you took time out of your life right now to talk to me, of all people. That's funny.
Hey, man, power to the fans.
Dude, honestly, it's huge. It's huge. It really is. I think the FCF is incredibly smart for approaching the game the way they do and trying to bring fans in on it. It's gonna be huge. I honestly think this league's gonna last.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, what are your goals for the 22 season, and on a broader perspective, what do you hope to achieve throughout the rest of your career?
Before I think I was kind of, I guess, timid to say it because I didn't want to, I guess, overstep my boundaries. But after a year of sitting back and watching and just seeing how people act, and like, I think it's pretty okay to say my goal is to put the NFL on alert. Um, I want them to see a guy that has the ability to catch and play at the same speed of a Tyreek Hill or same talent level as Antonio Brown. And I think I have those type of abilities, and I think that's who I am and what I am. I think I could really be the next big thing. And I know everybody thinks that and believe that, but I know with my abilities and the things that I could do, just given the shot, that I could do it. And I think the people in the FCF, talking to multiple of them, from players to owners to staff, they believe I could do it. So my biggest goal this year is to put the NFL on alert and do exactly what I was brought there to do. So that's my number one thing. Just being okay and comfortable in my skin with who I am and what I want to put across. That's what I want to accomplish for my career. Moving past that and beyond that, I hope that me putting the NFL on alert allows me to get an opportunity. And, with that opportunity, I just manifest everything that I've literally been working for. I've been lucky to make mistakes, and I was lucky to come out early from college and still be doing this. And for them to just look at me and say I'm a younger guy, like, I feel like everything falls heavily into my favor as of right now. And I'm just mentally, physically, spiritually ready to go take the tables, So I'm ready to run it up, and man, hopefully have an interview with you about how I ran it up here in the next year or so. So
That's awesome, man. I would love to have you back on. I would love to have you back on for sure, especially after you kill it this year, which I fully expect you will. So I got one last question for you, strictly based on our conversation earlier, which I had totally missed. You served as a coach this past season. Out of curiosity, do you see yourself ever serving as a coach down the line after your playing career?
I definitely see myself coaching later on down my career as I get older. Um, I really feel like I would be better off training kids, probably through my youth and through like 30s, maybe 40s, But I do see coaching later on down the line of my career. But I definitely had an all conference running back this year. When you get to sit back and think about it, nobody on offense got all conference. My running back got all conference. So proud of that. My second string running back is emerging the first string after you know my first string left. So I'm no longer coaching there, but I keep in contact with the kids, some of the coaches, and it's a very humbling experience. It's a very humbling experience because uh, I was in control of what I was teaching my kids and what they were doing, and it was just a lot I had to overcome as a coach and being a young player and proving to my head coach and offensive coordinator. And I think that everything that's happened post my time there should be some type of realization like that kid know what he was talking about, and that kid was doing some damn good coaching. So with due time, everything comes to light. And I'm just while I'm on here, shout out to James Hoban, and my running back Bryce. Man, they put in a lot of work and a lot of time, so I'm very proud of those guys.
That's awesome. What school was it you coached at?
Western New Mexico University,
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
alma
That's
mater.
awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you finish up your night without me bugging you anymore. I appreciate you taking time out and talking to me tonight, man, and I would love to have you back on, especially after you get Most Peaceful Way to Die put out, and we can talk about that a little bit more. I obviously don't want you giving away your whole storyline here until you're ready to really let people see it. So.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for having me on and flash that. Power to the fans, and I'm always under the mask.
Absolutely. Have a good one, man.
You too.
So once again, that was Treydonte Hill. He's a wide receiver in the FCF. Multi-talented dude. Obviously, as we talked about, he is helping create / motivating the creation behind Most Peaceful Way to Die. He is a very awesome dude to talk to. He literally all I did was reach out to him on LinkedIn, and he went ahead and said, yeah, man, I would love to be on and do an interview with you. And like you heard him talk about, he is all about fan interaction, and he's all about growing his brand as a person and helping grow the FCF, because really that's why they're allowing these players to go out and do these interviews, and they're not trying to rein them in, because at the end of the day, the FCF understands that, as he said, the power is with the fans. If you don't have fans as a league, you can't survive. And that's why they are all about the fans. And on that note, I hope you guys, my fans, enjoyed this video. And I hope some of Treydonte's fans joined in, because he has a hell of a story. The fact that he was able to bounce back from being homeless all the way into being a professional football player should just go to show you that no matter what you're facing in life, you can get through it too with enough determination and hard work. That, like I told him before, resonated with me specifically. And moving on, I definitely plan on having him back on, and hopefully we can line it up in the future where he lands with an NFL team and I'm able to have him on and we can talk about that, because he honestly deserves it. And with the speed that he shows at running a 4.3, I have no doubt that he's got the ability and the talent to do so. I'm going to definitely be rooting for him in the 2022 season and beyond, strictly because of the type of man he is and the type of guy that he's shown me that he is. I hope you guys do the same. So keep an eye on the FCF, and let's all root for Treydonte in 2022. And hopefully, like I said, we'll have him back on when he has a very successful season this year and moves on to bigger and better things in 2023 and beyond. Have a good night, and thanks for tuning in.